Today will probably be your favorite day of ramp up because we're going to practice story problems. So when you're dealing with or solving story problems, there's 4 steps I want you to think about. The first thing you want to do is define a variable. That's going to be what the question is asking you to find. The second step is to set up an equation. Sometimes it's easier to start with the total so you know what your equation is going to be equal to, and then work backwards from there. Third step, after you set up the equation, you're going to solve the equation. And then your fourth step is you need to write your answer in a complete sentence. So let's get started. I'm only going to do one example with you today, and then you guys can get right to solving the ones that are on Canvas. And the solutions are there too. So make sure you check your answers and then send an email or join the Zoom call with any questions that you have. So a lot of times when I start a story problem, I don't even read the beginning. I just go straight to the end. So I know before I read the problem what I'm looking for. In this problem, I need to know how many buckets Jack has sold. So now I'm going to go back. When Jill sells 2 more buckets, she will have sold 3 times as many buckets as Jack sold. Jill has sold 19 buckets. So my unknown I'm going to let be X. So X is the number of buckets Jack has sold. So you always want to start by defining your variable so we know what you're talking about when you get your answer. So my total that we have here, Jill has sold 19 buckets. And that's Jill. Jill has to, or when Jill sells 2 more, so if she sold 19, when she sells 2 more, that'll be 21. She will have sold 3 times as many buckets as Jack. So we need to look for where the equal sign is in this problem. Is means equal, and I don't really see the word is. So she will have, that's your equal sign. So Jill starts with 19 buckets. She sells 2 more, which gives her 21. When that happens, she will have sold 3 times what Jack has. So that's represented as 3x because we don't know what Jack has. So now we set 3x equal to 21. We're going to solve this equation by dividing by 3, and we get x equals 7. So that means Jack has sold 7 buckets. And that's our final answer. So there's some different types of story problems that you're going to get to. They're not going to be all exactly like the one we just did. So if you're having trouble, send us a message or check out the answer, and then from there you can hopefully at least move forward. Couple things to think about when you're solving these story problems. One of them talks about a triangle and its angles. Well, a triangle's angles add up to 180. And another thing to think about is when you're talking about consecutive integers. Those are integers that are in a row. So if your first number is x, then your second number would be 1 more than x. So it'd be x plus 1. So that would be like 3 and then 4. Or 9 and then 10. You add 1 to 3 to get 4. You add 1 to 9 to get 10. If you're talking about consecutive odd or consecutive even numbers, you got to think about it. If you start with 3 and go to 7 next, or if you start with 6 and you go to 8 next, to get from here to here, you added 2. So if x is your first number, then x plus 2 is going to be your second even or odd consecutive integer. You also want to remember to find the perimeter of a rectangle. You're going to take 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. To find the area of a rectangle, it's just going to be length times width. And then the last thing that might help you with one of these story problems is to remember that distance equals rate times time. So use these ideas to help you with your story problems. Email me with any questions. Check out the answers because they will help you or at least guide you. All right, go for it. Have fun.